Time to celebrate, time to crack open the champagne. Here we are at episode 100 of Bernie Drops the Needle. This 100th episode had to be something special, and I knew that I wanted to do it about the Beatles. But what to do about the Beatles? I mean, in their official catalog, they've released 13 studio albums and 63 singles. Now, I'm not going to go through and rank them, but I wanted to figure out some way to expose the lesser known tracks on these albums. So what I'm going to do is pick my favorite song from each of the albums that was not a hit. Now, because there's so much great music here, I've decided I got to cut this into 4 separate episodes. So here in this first episode, we're just going to look at the first 3 Beatle albums, Please Please Me, With the Beatles, and A Hard Day's Night. In subsequent episodes, we'll take more chunks of the Beatles catalog until we work our way all the way through it. So let's drop the needle. Now, as I pick my favorite from each album that's not a hit, I'm sure yours are going to be different. So go ahead and make up your list. Put it in the comments. I'd love to see it. I'm only going to be looking at the 13 UK studio albums that the Beatles released, because the albums that released in the UK and the US were vastly different. Now, how am I going to decide what songs are hits and therefore should be excluded before I pick my one song from each album? The criteria I'm going to use is if it was released as a single in the US. But this is harder than I thought it would be, because you have singles released by Capitol, by VJ, and by Swan Records, sometimes simultaneously. Oh, and also I'm only including the singles that were released while the Beatles were together, because the record companies released a whole bunch of singles after they broke up. But they're not going to count for this exercise. By automatically excluding those hits, that means the better known songs are not eligible for my picks here. It means I'm going to have to dig deeper into the albums. Now, as much as I love all of the Beatles recordings, this is going to be a very difficult exercise. On February the 11th, 1963, the Beatles went into Abbey Road Studios and recorded their first album, Please Please Me, and they did it in one day. They recorded 14 tracks in 13 hours. That's just simply amazing. And 8 of those tracks were original songs written by Lennon and McCartney. This was also unheard of at the time. A band writing their own music? So first we have to get rid of the tracks that were released as singles. So let's say goodbye to I Saw Her Standing There, Please Please Me, Love Me Do, P.S. I Love You. One of my favorite cuts on this album is Misery, so I'm sad to see it go. We're going to lose Boys. Sorry, Ringo. George's Do You Want to Know a Secret? Ask Me Why. And John's great vocal on Twist and Shout. Boy, there are a lot of singles on this album. That leaves me with just 5 songs for me to pick just one. Okay, for the first cut, we'll lose Chains. Another great song, but remember, I only get to pick one song per album. There's a Place. Good song, good harmony, but it goes as well. A Taste of Honey. Yeah, here is Paul doing his best Broadway crooning, but again, no. So now for the final cut, we are left with 2 songs. Baby, It's You, a great Beatle take on a 1961 hit by the Shirelles, and Anna, Go to Him, written by Arthur Alexander and released by him in 1962. The Beatles learned it quickly and included it in their act and on this record. For my one song from this album, I'm going to go with one of John's great vocals. Now, the Beatles didn't write this song, but man, they own it. And every time I hear it, I get a little lump in my throat. Great job, boys. On November 22nd, 1963, the day before JFK was assassinated, the Beatles went into the studio to record their second album, With the Beatles. And unlike their first album, which they did in one day, this one took them 3 months to record. Again, there are 14 songs on the record, 7 written by Lennon and McCartney, and 1 by George Harrison. Now it's interesting. There are no hit singles from this album. I guess they were too busy touring at the time. So, all right, let's go with the first cut. We'll lose Little Child, Hold Me Tight, I Want to Be Your Man. Sorry, Ringo. And two great songs, Devil in Her Heart and Not a Second Time. Yeah, this is getting tough. All right, second cut. We lose All I Gotta Do, Till There Was You. But who can forget Paul singing that he never saw them at all till there was you? Please, Mr. Postman. This is the Beatles at their cutest. Don't Bother Me, George's first composition, but even he thought it was weak. You Really Got a Hold on Me. Yeah, I like this song, but I only get to pick one. It Won't Be Long, a song with some great yeah-yeahs in it, but no. All right, final cut. Leaves us with three killer tracks, Roll Over Beethoven, and the boys really give their all for that. Paul's very charming, All My Loving, which I can't believe was never a single. Then there's John belting out Money, That's What I Want. And that's going to be my pick, God Love Lennon. In 1964, the Beatles became film stars with their first movie, A Hard Day's Night. Now, the English release is way different than the American. The American only had songs from the movie and then instrumentals, where the UK one had songs from the movies and then other songs as well. So now we're going to lose the hit singles. First one to go is the title track, A Hard Day's Night, with that great opening chord that people still today are arguing how to play it. Other singles right out will be I Should Have Known Better, If I Fell, I'm Happy Just to Dance With You, And I Love Her, Can't Buy Me Love, and I'll Cry Instead. Okay, first cut. We'll lose When I Get Home, I'll Be Back. One of my fave songs, and I hate to lose it, You Can't Do That. And Tell Me Why. Okay, now for the final cut, and it comes down to a battle between John and Paul. John has his great belter, Anytime at All. Really like that song. And Paul has the much more tender Things We Said Today. And I remember when the Beatles were going to play Chicago that year, the concert that I went to, the radio station had a contest where you could write in and request a song that you wanted the Beatles to play at the concert. And then they would announce which song had got the most votes and they would play it. Well, I, of course, put down Things We Said Today. And I was so excited at the concert because I was sure that was going to win. Well, it didn't. And I don't even remember which song they announced as the winner of the audience poll. But it was a great concert, and it's a great song. So from the Hard Day's Night album, I'm going to pick Things We Said Today. Wow, this is much harder than I thought it would be, and we've only covered 3 albums. The first 2 were in 1963, and A Hard Day's Night were in 1964. So to do a recap, on Please Please Me, my pick, which was not a hit, was Anna, Go to Him. On With the Beatles, I picked John's Money, That's What I Want. And on A Hard Day's Night, Paul's Things We Said Today. In a future episode, we will look at the next 3 Beatle albums from what I refer to as their transition period, where they started experimenting with new musical ideas and stopped touring. I will pick one song from each record. I'd love to hear your comments. I'm sure you've got different picks. Thanks for watching, and keep a rockin'. If you liked this episode, hit the like button, and you can also leave me a comment down below, and I'll respond to you. If you subscribe, we'll let you know when future episodes come out.